Okay. Well, hello, Stacey.
Hello.
Hi. Okay. Thank you for doing this interview with me. I'm so excited for this conversation. I'm always like very interested to hear, I guess, like, okay, what is it like how you have grown and shifted during this period? And okay, and just to like give the people watching a context, Stacey has been working with me for 6 months now. And yeah, okay, I guess we will begin there. Can you start off by, is there anything that you want the people to know about you or share anything about kind of where you were at before we got started and what made you decide to say yes to life coaching in the first place?
Okay, so I'm a writer, and part of what led me to looking for a life coach or what I wanted to work on is just being able to say that out loud was something that was not, yeah, something I was able to do even 6 months ago. Um, so let me tell you what I thought life coaching was going to be. I'm a person that I read a lot. I absorb a lot of information. I had read a lot of personal growth books. I knew about life coaching. So I thought, okay, I'm going to get this life coach, and my coach is going to keep me motivated. And she's going to, when I want to give up writing or I want to, stop working on the book, she's going to be able to keep me motivated until I finish it. And that's totally not what it was. It was like even better. So, yeah, that's what I thought it was going to be. And so I knew about life coaching, and I had been a subscriber to your email list for probably a year or more and just kind of followed your emails. And um, I was at a place in my life where I just felt stuck. Like I mentioned, I had stopped writing, even though I really wanted to. Like I had wanted to be writing my whole life. And I was at my day job and wasn't really interested in that and just felt like I couldn't, anything I did wasn't moving me forward.
Mhm.
And I remember one night I was kind of woke up in the middle of the night, those nights where you wake up and you just start thinking about everything that's going wrong and everything. And I don't know if I don't even remember, honestly. I don't know if I had recently read one of your emails or just like was conscious of you for some reason, but I was kind of scrolling through your Instagram feed and watched a video of you, and you just seemed so friendly. And it was a video about like a client of yours that had just manifested $10,000. And you were just so excited about this client who had done that. And I thought, okay, that's what led me to reach out and just to see what life coaching was about, how much it was going to cost. I'm like, at this point, I was at a point where I just want to try anything. I just need something different. I'm stuck and yeah. So I
Mm.
just wanted to try it. That's where I was at.
Yeah, yeah, and it's very interesting that you mentioned how, right, like you thought life coaching was, oh, them going to motivate you, right, and try to kind of make sure you're doing your job, keeping you accountable, and things like that. And I think in a way, this is what a lot of people think about life coaching. They're like, okay, this is what working with a life coach is like. So, is there anything that surprised you about our work together? Anything that you felt was different. It's like if someone is suspicious about, okay, life coaching, this is like you get motivated, right? And then like someone keeping you accountable. What would you say about that?
I would say, yeah, I went into it thinking, I have a problem or I need to be fixed or something needs to be fixed. And I guess that was just maybe not a surprise, but just, well, I guess it was a surprise. Just learning that I could come to life coaching or come to this process where I was at
Mhm.
and um, and build from there. And it was about um, not fixing a problem, but just I, I, well, we started with like the model, working through the thoughts. And I remember one of the first things I wanted to start on were all these negative thoughts, all of these criticisms of myself and my life and what I was doing. And one of the first things, like, and I was even writing them all down and like, how do I stop these thoughts? And one of the first thing he told me was like, these are not a problem. Like, this is just what your brain does. And so, and why I say it wasn't a surprise is because I had read, like I mentioned, I had read all these personal growth books, and I knew that thoughts were just thoughts, and they weren't reality. But it's so much different. And that's what I would tell anybody thinking about coaching, is that it's so different. To know something is not to be doing something. Like, I was a person who thought, okay, I need to know this. I just need the information, and then I'll be different. But it's not. The coaching and meeting with you every week and working through the model and discussing these things and practicing these things, instead of just knowing that thoughts are not things, or thoughts are not reality. There's a difference between knowing and doing and practicing.
Yeah. Yeah. It's kind of like the difference between knowing and truly applying it, practicing, integrating until it becomes just a part of who you are, right? It's like something you first intentionally practice and later on it becomes a habit, and a habit that you do over time, it just becomes, oh, this is just who I am. This is just what I do. This is just how I think, right? How I
Yes,
feel.
that's right. Applying and practicing, and I'm still practicing. It's not like okay, I changed this and now I'm fixed and now I'm good. It's a continual practice.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah. And you are a writer, and this is one of the main things that you came to me about, right? Really getting into the habit of writing, really embodying that identity as a professional writer. So we've done a lot of work around this, and this is like a very general concept. And can you kind of briefly share with the people about the process that kind of some examples and some processes that we did to help you embody your identity as a writer, and like what feels different for your life right now when it comes to pursuing this career?
Yeah, I think it started, but the biggest part of it was starting with that belief plan and those thoughts and beliefs, about author Stacey, coming up with that future self and calling her author Stacey, and then like, what does she believe, and then putting that on my belief plan and repeating those and just letting those sink in. That was probably the strongest part, the most effective process that I used to just become that, because I wasn't writing. And then right away, right after we started working together, I had started a morning writing habit. So it was the belief plan, the practicing those beliefs, and also the celebration. So every morning after I would do my writing habit, and then celebrating that I just, came to the writing habit again. And that I even, instead of setting expectations, like saying, okay, I'm going to write 1,000 words this morning, I was just celebrating the fact that I showed up for my writing time. I focused on my writing, and, and that was it. That's all I had to do to be a writer. So those two things were the main things that really started, and it just built from there.
I love that. Yeah. And notice how, like, in the beginning, I know for a lot of people in the beginning, celebrating themselves, it might feel a little weird. Like, I'm celebrating myself, like, oh, this is nothing, right? And try to kind of discredit our work or not look at what we did. And what you did over time, like constant celebration of yourself over time, is that you're creating almost like a body experience that settles in your identity. Like, oh, hey, this is proof that I'm a writer. Oh, hey, this is another proof that I'm a writer, like over time, right? And then you're almost like integrating that belief in the body through movement, through celebrating yourself, through, playing music and dancing to that, those memory in your body.
It did. And now it feels, recently over Thanksgiving vacation, I took kind of a break and didn't do that for a few days. And then it felt different, because it had become such a habit and sort of ingrained. And
Yeah.
so I could tell that I had changed that way.
Yeah. Like it feels weird if you're not writing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Notice the difference, right? It's like, oh, it feels weird when I'm not writing because this is just who I am. This is just what I do.
Yeah. And it's not connected anymore to any kind of outcome. Like even if I don't like what I wrote that day, or even if I have a voice in my head saying, oh, this is, this still needs work. It's not, I'm still a writer. I'm still doing, because I'm showing up every day and I'm doing that habit and I'm celebrating that. And, those thoughts on my belief plan are things like, I'm a writer because I just love this and it's just me.
Yes.
So.
Yeah. Yeah. And when it comes to, building your career in writing, it also like involves being an entrepreneur and kind of like learning to think differently and create a different relationship with money. And that's also something that we worked on as well. Can you share with the people about like that process and how that has been like for you?
I love the money work. That was so much fun because I don't talk about money that much day to day, with people. People don't talk about money. And, I love having money and making money. And, but when we first started working on the money, there was a lot of fear. And, that's where we started because I just felt, and I think it was because I felt like I didn't have any control over money. Like I couldn't make it come to me and I was very stuck. There's that word again, in the income that I was making. And I had no way of knowing how to make more. Um, but yeah, and again, through the belief plan, those thoughts, working through the model of the thoughts that I was having on money. We did like a visualization where money was a person, which I had never done before. And it helped to think of money as a person and like money always being there for me. Um, so those kinds of things. And through that, I was able to, change that fear to one of possibility and just feeling more powerful and recognizing that um, I was creating this money and I was bringing money to me. And then as we were working together over that 6 months, I did increase my income. I got a raise at work and some bonuses and like just random money coming to me. And, realizing that that just didn't happen, that I created that was part of letting go of that fear, and realizing that I was creating it and it was in my control. So yeah, I love the money stuff.
Yeah, I think as women, we should all talk about money so much more.
I do too. And I've heard myself like mentioning just with coworkers or so, just like I love money.
Yeah.
I think my password for something was like money and some dollar signs, and somebody was asking me about that. I'm like, yeah, I love it.
Yeah. Yeah. And being so open about it, like, yeah, this is just what you do, right? And feeling
Mhm.
so proud that I'm creating more money. I know how to create more money. And I love that you talked about how, because a part of doing this money work is actually also taking credit, right, of all the money you have created. I think sometimes when we are afraid of money and when we see like uh, random money in our bank account, we're like, oh, we're just lucky, or like we didn't create this. It just kind of happened to us. And what I'm hearing you saying is kind of you taking ownership, right? And responsibility and control of like, hey, all of this money, I created that myself and taking ownership. And then the moment you take ownership, then you can really know how to do it again, know how to
Yeah.
repeat it again.
Yes, definitely. And that's what I'm seeing. Like if I made money, I created this money in my day job. And so now I know that I'm capable of creating money with my writing or, any other work that I want to do, that I'm the one doing it. And it doesn't matter what the activity is, it's me creating it.
Yeah, it can be from your day job, it can be from your writing career, it can be from other places, but doesn't matter what, like the central thread is you, right? You're the
Yeah.
person that creates that money.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. How does it feel to know that you have that much power and you are the person who created money?
Yeah. It feels, well, empowering. Yeah. And amazing and exciting. And I feel, yeah, a lot of potential and want to see what I can do in other areas and, you know.
Yeah. Yay. Yeah. The next question is kind of like more open-ended, and I'm just being curious as well. Like, was there any moment during the 6 months that we worked together that really stood out to you, or any memorable moments that you remember?
There wasn't one big moment, like, one big aha moment there, but there were so many of them, every time we met. And I was thinking about this just before I met tonight. Um, every Monday night I felt that resistance because we met on Monday nights. And it got to a point where I would just become aware of it and I learned to recognize it because I would just see, oh, okay, it must be Monday again. I'm feeling resistance, or I don't like I just want to go home after work and have a glass of wine and read my book, and I don't want to talk about myself. I don't want to go through this process. It's hard. Because sometimes it was. But then after we would meet and talk for that hour, and then just such relief, such clarity, such, like, every time I just felt so much better and proud of myself for meeting with you, even though I felt that resistance, and just being with that and letting it be, and meeting with you anyway, not trying to get out of it. So yeah, every meeting was just not a surprise, but just I didn't know how much I would resist it, but then it would feel like such an accomplishment each time to go through that meeting and that process with you.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. It's kind of like our brain always resists any kind of change, knowing that in
Hmm.
almost every session there's going to be change happening. And
Yeah.
you're going to have to talk
Yeah.
about yourself and your life.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like really, if you think about it, it is a really like focused and concentrated energy, right? The 60 minutes.
Hmm.
Yeah. And it's all about you, right? And then you're talking all about you. So yeah, there is like a lot of like things happening during the 60 minutes. So makes total sense why every time before the session you feel that resistance from the brain.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, talking about me is uncomfortable. I don't like talking about me. But then once we got started, the hour would fly by every week. I'd look down and it would be, an hour later, and we're almost done. So, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. And lastly, what would you say to anyone, let's say if someone is watching right now and they are also considering coaching and thinking about working together, what would be something that you might say to them, or like you just want to let them know if they're on the fence thinking about it? Um, Another way to think about it is you can also think about past Stacey, what she was going through. What would you say to her or to anyone who's wondering?
I would say, it's, and it's kind of what I've already said, I went into it, and past Stacey thought that she was a problem that was going to get fixed. And it was just going to, the 6 months was going to be up and everything was going to be fixed. And I would say go into it more like it's a jumping off point. It's this is just the beginning. I realize, after working with you, and then I see so much possibility, and it's a practice. I'm gonna keep practicing and keep building on what I've learned. And so, don't think of it as you're going to fix one problem and everything's going to be great. It's going to open up so many new opportunities, so many new, maybe even challenges, but working through those will then again build on what you've learned. So yeah, I would say keep an open mind and just start and do the work instead of just thinking about it. And it's amazing. You'll see.
Yeah, I love that you say it's the beginning because I'm so excited for you. It really is just the beginning for you.
Thank you.
Yeah, so excited for what's to come. What was the other thing I was going to say? Oh yeah, and this is I love what you said, right? This is a starting point, like a jumping off point. And the thing about like all of this life coaching work is that once you know it, it's kind of impossible for you to unknow it, right? Like once you know it, you have this, you know it for life. Like it literally changes you. You can't go back to the past before. Yeah.
No, definitely not. Because I practiced it for the last 6 months, I immediately recognize when I have those thoughts of like self-doubt, or when I'm writing and I think, oh, this isn't good. And I'm thinking, oh, there's, past Stacey trying to get me to quit, or, and I don't think I can turn that off now.
Yeah. Yay! Woo! Celebrating
Yeah,
you.
that's a good thing.
Yeah, so exciting. And lastly, I also want to like have this opportunity for you to share a little bit about you too. So you are currently working on the draft of your upcoming book that's about to be published. If anyone who is interested, can you, is there anything that you can share with them about the upcoming book, what it's about? And if they want to follow you more on your journey, where can they find you or get into your space?
Okay. Well, actually, the first book is already published, and it's available on Amazon. So if you just go to the Amazon website, the first book is called The Witch's Throne. It's a paranormal mystery. It's about a woman whose husband was this professional skeptic. He would investigate paranormal mysteries and find the rational explanation for them. So in the first book, he investigates this legend called the Witch's Throne, and it's a tree stump that the legend is if you sit on it within 3 days, you'll die. So he goes and sits on it, and 3 days later, he dies. And so the main character is his wife, and she figures out the mystery of how he died, because it wasn't paranormal. So that's the first book. In the second book, she is investigating the disappearance of a missing woman who goes missing on this island that's rumored to be haunted. And that one's called Haunts of the Brethren, and I'm gonna finish it this year. So
Oh my gosh, so exciting. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Do you have any place that people can follow you or a website or
yeah.
yeah.
My website is andersonlotch.com. And yeah, that's the best place to go if you want to see my work.
Yay, awesome. Okay. And I'll get the link from you and I'll put it in the description afterwards. All right. Okay. Thank you, Stacey, for this talk. And I am very, very excited for you.
Thank you so much, Shirley, for everything. You're amazing. Thank you.